其实澳门啊，它这个生活节奏还有点像成都。我跟你讲，它是亚洲的第一个大学，这后来是个教堂嘛，但是在这儿设立了第一个大学。后来这个被烧了，烧了就留下这个牌坊。这个牌坊其实很有意思，你仔细看，它是有各个国家的文化因素。有人专门研究过这个，比如说这些浮雕啊那些啊代表啊，它是有意义的。所以历史它的有趣就在于它的复杂性，而不是简单的大家找到现成的答案。每个人心中都有自己的历史。福勒戴尔他把历史分为3种历史，一种是长时段，一个中时段，一个是短时段。长时段我们可以说几百年、上千年，中时段呢就是几十年或者上百年，短时段呢就是这个几年、十几年。我们写社会史，就是我写茶馆啊这些，这就算是中时段的历史。所以为什么写100年的？你就可以看到这100年啊，就透过这个茶馆这么小一个微观，整个大的世界的变化，就是我们整个政治、经济、文化、社会，都在这100年中间的变化，从茶馆中间展示出来。所以说我把茶馆作为一个窗口，微观世界小的空间，其实可以反映整个城市啊，甚至中国的历史变化。过去所说的茶馆中间都是些闲人是不对的，茶馆中间还有一批人叫盲人，就是很忙的人，做生意的、谈事的，包括一些文人到茶馆里面去写作的、去交流信息的各种社会团体、哥老会、袍哥，所以并不是都是闲人。其实茶馆就是利用这个空间来办理各种事情。在传统中国社会，没有任何一个这种公共空间像茶馆有这么多的功能。茶馆是一个非常复杂的一个场所，它担任了特别是经济的功能。过去啊，做生意都要去特定的茶馆，比如说我是卖米的，买卖米呀，我们就到那个茶馆去。还有中药、绸缎，还有杂货各种。我就说它实际上成了一个经济的中心，一直到改革开放以后。我在那个茶馆那本书中间有非常详细的计算，每天有多少茶客在成都。后来我计算差不多10万到14万人每天，但是成都有差不多40万人，也就是1/4的人每天去茶馆喝茶。我敢说，现在那个观音阁茶馆可能是全中国最有名的茶馆。对有些人来说，这个茶馆就是他唯一的社交的，他任何时候都在，你去的，他就，所以说在民国时期就有这个说法，茶馆是一些人的这个半个家，就他大部分时间不在家里，啊，他在茶馆里。可能在那里喝茶都是30、40年了，对不对？成为一种生活方式。对我来说，我觉得好像有点时间这是凝固的。我们看见外面的世界，这个你想，这个时间的发展啊，多么快！但是对另外一些人来说，时间是凝固的。你看他干同样的事情，1年又1年，1年又1年。所以那个老板李强说，有的老人去世了，要土葬之前，家里边都在这儿买茶，啊， 要给老人要敬一碗茶，这个就是太代表了他们的历史，代表他们的过去。这个我觉得啊，总归还是和成都人的生活习惯、生活方式、心态。我说的这种生活方式，其实就是存在于我们的。
Every year, on the 5th day of the 5th month of the lunar calendar, Chinese people celebrate the traditional holiday, the Dragon Boat Festival, in various ways. On this day, in addition to the sweet fragrance of glutinous rice dumplings in the air, there is a cool fragrance of grass and wood, a fragrance that comes from Dragon Boat Festival incense pouches.
配香囊呢，大概我们目前能追溯的历史从西汉开始，到了端午这个时节，也是这些蚊虫比较滋生的季节，所以说呢，就需要佩戴香包、香囊这些有气味性、有香味的东西去驱散这些蚊虫。
而现在，大家很多人都慢慢忘记了这个传统。
Zhang Hanqing is obsessed with incense making and has been in Chengdu for 5 years. He has been making incense pills, incense tags, incense bracelets, and incense pouches, all of which come in different forms.
我们中国有几千年的一个用香史，并且呢，每一种香料它的味道上都有它独特的魅力，慢慢的是沦陷进去了。自古以来，成都啊就是一座香香的城市。
As Zhang Hanqing said, making, using, and wearing incense has been part of the aesthetics of Chengdu people's lifestyle since ancient times.
然后这是一个唐代的镂空的金香囊，是花鸟纹的。它呢是一个可以打开的一个上下半球，就是一个陀螺仪的原理。香料放到里边去之后，无论这个香囊怎么转动，这个香云呢都在里边，不会香粉的一个掉落，然后都是固定的啊。然后是我们在唐代特别流行的一个香囊的一个样式。从历史上来说，你像我们成都的华尔夫人、苏轼。李白写过一首词诗叫《日照香炉生紫烟》，女词人李清照，瑞脑笑金兽，都是用香的大家和高手。两宋时期啊，成都的香市是特别盛行的。随着海上丝绸之路的开通，然后很多国外的香料到达我们的港口之后，顺流长江逆流而上，到达我们的成都。成都都是一个很重要的集散地和香料的一个消费地。
During the Song Dynasty, there were many large and small markets in Chengdu, and every month there was a fixed trade fair, which was called the December market. And in June of every year, there was a special market just for spices.
我们可以想象一下，1000多年前，就是现在的这个时节，在这个位置，当时的唐宋时期的我们的先辈们，也是在这里去买香、做香囊。
This year's Dragon Boat Festival is approaching. Zhang Hanqing wants to bring back old times and restore the ancient Chengdu Dragon Boat Festival incense pouch tradition.
香圣是总结了前朝、唐宋时期的很多经典的香方。我在香圣里边选择了一个梅蕊香方，这个香方在当时普及度很高，也是古人端午节会用到的一款经典香方。
The emergence of incense pouches is closely related to the use of spices. More than 5,000 years ago, Chinese people already started to use spice plants to ward off evil spirits and for cleanliness. Traditional Chinese incense pouches are usually made from natural herbs. So Zhang Hanqing came to this plantation, more than 100 kilometers from Chengdu, where there is a certain spice he needs.
这个长得比较好，这个味道就和我们北方有一个，你们南方凉拌菜用折耳根，我们那有一个也是叫 类似于薄荷的一种凉拌菜，叫荆茄，清热解暑，特别好。
The spice Zhang Hanqing was looking for is a familiar spice of Chengdu people, huoxiang. As early as 100 years ago, Chengdu people started using huoxiang as an herbal medicine, and nowadays, huoxiang is often found in Chengdu people's dinner table as an accompaniment to the classic Sichuan dish, huoxiang fish. Why is huoxiang, which is both an herb and an accompaniment, the spice needed for Duanwu incense pouches?
我们做调香呢，有一个理念叫君臣佐使啊，君是主料，然后呢，臣就是辅料，藿香在这边就是一个辅料的作用。看这个长势，基本上这片地长得都挺好的。
现在这个季节呢，比较好又嫩。
植物的年份的时间越长，它的味道呢越浓郁，内含物质越丰富。然后呢，我们做出来的香料呢，它的一个挥发油的成分也就越浓。我们做香呢，我们可能说主要用的都是它的根茎部分，香味的一个持久度啊和它的一个丰富度。哎，我们往回走。这就是我们挑拣好的根茎，然后这边呢就是叶子。按目前这个天气，可能说是5到7天吧，应该差不多能干下来。干完之后，我们就可以拿来研磨，拿来用了。制的这个香囊呢，用的香方是梅蕊香，这里边原料有呢果香，上次采摘的藿香、丁香、白芷、干松、牡丹皮、小茴香。称重完成之后就是研磨，然后这个呢是我们传统的一个药碾子，大家它是一个环形的草本的香料，晒干之后呢，它的根茎啊比较的软，然后我们只是说稍微研磨，能把它稍微的把它的壁打破，然后能压软一点，让它香味出来就 OK 了。调香来说，对我来说是一个探索的一个过程，挖宝的一个过程。一旦调成功一个香方之后，给你带来的那个成就感和愉悦感，是完全说是其他东西无可比拟的。从香气上来说，有层次感、丰富、有变化，而不是单一的。首先闻到的是凌凌的那种清香，再最后藿香的那种特有的味道，前调、中调和后调在这里边都有所体现。按这个方子来说，是草本的为主，我们要放置10到15天左右，不同的原料让它的气味融合统一的一个过程。
The incense is finished, but the traditional Dragon Boat Festival incense pouch production is only half completed. Because the making of the incense pouch is as indispensable as the incense itself. Where will Zhang Hanqing go to find the right materials to sew the incense bag?
张老师，您好，您好，您好。张老师是这样的，我们呢今年呢想做一个端午的香囊，然后呢端午的香囊呢，我们想用我们成都的特产就是蜀锦来做一个香囊的袋子。然后因为我们里边用的这个，这是我们打的一个香方的样，里边我们这个香方用的是唐宋的方子，你可以闻一下，啊，对，唐宋的一个方子，
丁香啊，
对对对，主料是丁香。
香囊一般呢都是棉麻材质的，而今年呢，我想做个创新，选用蜀锦。
蜀锦是我们成都的特产，历史上成都地区出口创汇的一个主要的一个产品。而香料在我们历史上进口到中国国内的一个产物，所以说这样一进一出的关系，在今天有了这样一个结合，我认为特别有意义。成都有关的这些文样有没有？
叫花重景观厂，
望江楼。
对，望江楼。
哦，
在宽窄巷子啊。
对对，这应该是那个琴台路的那个。
对，琴台路。
啊，对对，看着像。
琴台附近。
对，哦，哦，对对，草堂，这个还比较有寓意。
它就是这2个挂绳，然后上面就可以自行选择嘛，可以有一个小流苏，
可以放在顶部，
对，
垂下来，
大概就是这样一个形状啊。
不管你一眼能不能看出来它是蜀锦，但是你看到这个文样你就知道它是成都，它属于成都，它来自成都。你再仔细的看上一眼，哇，几千年前我们成都的先辈们他们的一个记忆。
After 15 days, Zhang Hanqing's Chengdu Dragon Boat Festival incense pouch, made using ancient methods, was finally completed. On the eve of the Dragon Boat Festival, he invited his many friends he had made in Chengdu to celebrate a special Dragon Boat Festival.
做香囊，然后呢去配香囊，这是其实呢是我国历史上在端午节当中是一个特别重要的习俗。
Right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you are all awake and alive and hear me and see my screen sharings. That's perfect. Great. The Dragon Boat Festival is next Monday. Yeah, next Monday. 端午节. Yes, Monday, 14th June. Yes. That is Dragon Boat Festival, and the Chinese name is 端午节. And within the Chinese name, it has nothing to do with dragon, either boat. Okay. Right. We continue our study of lesson 12 today by reading it through. Let's warm up a little bit. Right. Let me see how many of you are there. Okay, not too bad. Better than I thought. Right, let's read this through and repeat after me. 第12课，你要茶还是咖啡？学期 think about the meanings. 门兴趣课对书法太极拳感兴趣可是一样选还是下语言学院这学期语言学院有6门兴趣课。我对书法、太极拳很感兴趣。可是这2门课上课时间一样，我选书法还是太极拳呢？这学期我想选太极拳，下学期我再选书法吧。Okay, within the text 1, we've seen all those 3 grammatical points that we have to learn from lesson 12. Number 1 is 对什么什么感兴趣, right? In this fixed structure, 对 functions as a preposition, not as an adjective. Correct? Right? It is a preposition, please. 他对太极拳感兴趣。He regards 太极功夫 be interested in. 我对看电视感兴趣。I against watching TV not interested in. 跑步 to run or jogging 对身体 for the body very good. This very last sentence give us another example that you can 对 simply as a preposition. By that I mean it doesn't necessarily to be in the structure of 对什么什么感兴趣. It is one of its function to form the 对什么什么感兴趣 structure. However, as a preposition, it means regard, concerns, against, for, depends on the situation, how you translate it. We learned the na, the second function of learn. Besides to form the duplicate question of 你呢,我呢,他呢,我们呢, etc., it can be added after 3 types of questions: special question, alternative question, affirmative, confirmative question. It doesn't change any function or the meaning of these questions. It basically used to express an emphatic tone of question, of interrogation. Point number 3, 还是 we left over here yesterday. 你 basically it is very easy. You use 还是 to link 2 options, A and B. Put a question mark. You can't add a ma, but if you want to add a ne, as we learned from the number 2, you can add a ne behind these. You formed another kind of question, which is called the alternative question, and by the name it suggests this question offers a alternative option or answer to you, to the person who's asking to, right? For example, let's look at the right side of my screen. Number 1, 他是老师还是学生 means
is he a teacher or a student?
Very good. And we can answer either. He's a student.
他是学生。
是学生 Perfect. 你喜欢美国电影还是喜欢法国电影 So basically, you see, if you look at here, why the second 喜欢 can be omitted, it is because it's appeared previously, right? But how so? Because if you repeat 喜欢, you make A 喜欢美国电影, B 喜欢法国电影, right? If you choose to not repeat the 喜欢, then your A is 美国电影, your B is 法国电影, right? So by that I mean basically doing this. 你喜欢 A or B 美国电影 or 法国电影 What that mean?
Do you like American or French movies?
I like both of them. Very good. Very good concept that you're using do. The only problem is do is a what? Vocabulary category, do is what? Adverb should be put in front of the verb. Can you rephrase that? Good. You don't need to repeat it. 我都喜欢. That's good enough. All right. Well, unless if you want to repeat that, you can repeat. Next one. 你吃面包还是吃包子 What that mean? 面包. Don't we remember what 面包 is?
Bread.
Bread. Thank you. 包子 is that Chinese bun, right? Steamed 包子. And the answer is, I don't like any of them at all. I don't eat them at all. I eat rice. This is the same concept of as 我都喜欢, just a negative form. How do you say I eat them both? I eat both. Right? Then we need to put the negator 不 in between. Do you think 不 is used to negate both or used to negate eat? Perfect. 我都不吃 I eat rice.
我吃饭.
Good. 我吃饭. Right? That 不 is used to negate eat instead of both because your actual action, the verb, in the question is eat. Right? My emphasis within the question is not asking you one or two people eating, is eat itself. So you're going to negate the eat, which is 不吃. That means you need to put the negator 不 close to the thing you want to negate. Not 不都吃, but 都不吃. Okay. Why do I emphasize this? Because 不都吃 also exists, and that means something slightly different. If I ask you 你吃面包还是吃包子, and if you answer me 我不都吃, that means I don't eat both of them. I eat one of them. Right? If you say 我都不吃, that means I eat none of them. Okay. So both negator 不 and 都 are all adverb. And the position of them depends on how close their relationship to the core verb, in this case is 吃. And by changing the word order, you change the meaning. Remember, this is one of the major characteristics of Chinese language. But there's just certain boundaries. You certainly cannot put the adverb after the verb, right? That is limitation. This is definitely wrong if you decide to do that. No, you can't say 不吃都. You can't say 不吃都 because 都 is adverb. You can't put it before the verb. You can put 不 and 都 are both adverb. You can put it in front of the verb. But who in front of whom changes the meaning. But you never put them behind the verb. Okay. Good. As one, 你今天下午休息还是学习? What does this mean?
During the afternoon, are you going to take a break or study?
I'll take a break.
今天下午休息.
我休息. All right. That's great. So we said if there's one thing at least you need to remember, that is 对 and 对什么时候感兴趣. If there's a second, let's try to remember how do we use 还是, because it's commonly used and very simple. And the third is 和什么什么一样, right? There are 3 core functions we have to learn. Let's try to form this kind of question. He likes to read book or watching TV.
他喜欢看书还是电视呢？
Good. Do you like banana or apple? Wake up.
你喜欢香蕉还是苹果呢？
Right. My dad likes swim or run. Do we have any gentlemen alive?
我爸爸喜欢游泳还是跑步？
Thank you. Today we eat Chinese food or Korean food.
今天我们吃中国菜还是韩国菜？
Very good. We go to the library. No, we go to the bookshop today or the day after tomorrow. Tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Sorry. Is this part that difficult? No, I think this is much easier than 对什么什么感兴趣. 书店 means?
Bookstore.
明天 is?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. 后天?
The day after tomorrow.
The day after tomorrow. Are we going to the bookstore tomorrow or the day after tomorrow?
我们去书店 What's the word?
明天.
明天还是后天
Right. 我们明天去书店还是后天? You see, in this case, you can even leave the 去书店 part out in the second part. Can't you see my screen sharings? Guys, can you see my screen?
对，老师。
Or is it too small on your phone? So you can't read. I suggest you at least use a pad, please. Okay. Also one. Sorry. So within the part 1 of the lesson 12, we learned at least these 4 of language grammar. Let's do a quick review. If I was asking you, 你对什么感兴趣? How could you answer me? For example, I'm interested in watching film.
我对看电影感兴趣。
Thank you. If I ask you, 中国人和韩国人一样吗? Your answer should be?
中国人，oh sorry. Go ahead.
韩国人不一样。
Thank you. 中国人和韩国人不一样。下课以后，你去食堂吃饭，还是去饭馆吃饭？ I'm going to the restaurant.
下课以后，我去饭馆吃饭。
Very good. 你吃中国菜还是韩国菜？
我都吃。
Good. I like that answer. There's a saying in the young Chinese generation that one shouldn't choose because one wants to take all. Means if there's an option in front of you, that you should try to take both of them, not choose one of them. Anyway, now last part. If we were going to add a n at the end of these 4 questions, right, to express our emphatic in the questioning tone, can we add n to all of them? These 4 questions we just saw on the right side of my screen, can we add n to all of them?
No.
Sorry?
No.
No. Which one we can't?
The second one.
Why?
Because it's not a special type of question.
Okay. It's not a special question, it's not alternative question, it's not affirmative, confirmative question. It is a simple question, right? You don't add n after a simple question. That's my point. Okay. Now let's look at something easier. 问题 from the text 1. 问题1, question 1. 我对什么课感兴趣? Let's try to find the answer from this text 1. 我对什么课感兴趣?
Need 我对书法、太极拳很感兴趣。
Very good. 我想选什么课?
想选太极拳。
Perfect. 我想选太极拳。The question from Ms. Halgren: Why would you add an emphatic tone to the question about everyday things? Is it just to be less serious? No. Well, you don't have to. First of all, you don't have to. By adding a not to these things, you don't change anything or add anything. It's just I assume girl would use that more than man. I think the major part for this point in our textbook is to let you know when you see a ne, don't panic. You know this is kind of particle to emphasize the tone. Right. Now we read this through, and we read through to the vocabulary lesson number 2. Repeat after me. Let's try to wake up. 这学期语言学院有6门兴趣课，我对书法、太极拳很感兴趣。可是这2门课上课时间一样，我选书法还是太极拳呢？这学期我想选太极拳，下学期我再选书法吧。运动，运动，跑步，跑步，身体，身体，爱好，爱好，踢，踢，足球，足球，打，打，篮球，篮球，最，最，骑，骑，自行车，自行车，报名，报名。Okay. So the theme for this part, as you may can figure out, is about your hobby, habit, your 爱好. And what kind of 爱好 do we have? We're into sports, right? So sports, all kind of exercise in general, that is 运动. 运动 literally means to move, right? 动 means to move. 运 describing that the continuous movement, the continuous status of the 动. So 运动 putting together literally refers to some kind of continuously movement. That is our sports or exercise working as a noun. For example, I could ask you, 你有什么爱好? What do I mean? Let me just rather write it down. 你有什么爱好? We saw 爱好 yesterday, eh? So I figured we should see that as some kind of old verb. 爱好 hobby. And what do I ask within this question?
What is your hobby?
What is your hobby? My hobby is sports.
我爱好是运动.
Right. That's correct. But we normally would use the apostrophe 的 here. 我的爱好是运动. Or you can make it simple. I like sports.
我喜欢运动.
Right. 我喜欢运动. That's also correct. And I can ask again, which kind of sports do you like? 你喜欢 what sports? 什么运动？你喜欢什么运动？ Or you can use which actually. 你喜欢哪一种运动？ The major word here, type 种，哪一种运动？ I like running.
我喜欢跑步。
我喜欢跑步 right? 我喜欢跑步 That's my point of your new word number 2. 跑步 跑 literally means to run. 步 refers to the small steps that you use your foot can make. So literally means to walk. 跑 means to run, and 跑步 means to run as well. Well, that's why there's the jogging here, because you probably can. 跑步 is not that fast as only to run, right? You can walk fast. This is also a type of 跑步, but normally we use 跑步 to indicating to run. If you look at 跑, how do we write 跑? You have 2 Chinese characters. One is 足 on the left. Another is 包 on the right. What does 足 mean?
Foot.
Foot. Thank you. If you are looking the part 3 after each lesson, you will see this radical. 足 means foot. 足 second tone means foot. Right? And everything associated with it, the Chinese character formed with it together, has something to do with your foot. The right one, 包 is?
Like a parcel.
Right, like a parcel, or 包子. But it doesn't give any meaning to this one. This is a typical formation for the Chinese character, with the part gives this meaning, the other part gives this pronunciation. 包包 pao 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 pao. Right, you get the logic? So, I like run, and I like to play football. Now let's look at this together. Please remember them together. 踢足球. Because play in Chinese is 玩, to play. However, we never use it together with any kind of sports. There's a specific verb associated to a specific kind of sports. By that I mean, you 踢足球 when 足球 means football, and you play football, you use your foot. If you look at how the T is written, we have the 足 again, right? And the T as a verb, it means to kick with your foot. You kick with your foot of what? Of 足, we see 足 again. 足 means a foot. 球 means a ball. You will find that from 篮球 basketball. 球 means the ball. 足球 the football. Right? You kick a football because you play that with your foot. You hit use your hand. That's why 打 has a radical of 手 on the left. And this means the radical of 手 means, or the character of 手 means?
Hand.
Hands. Right, thank you. You hit with your hand the basketball, whereas the 篮 means the basket. Why 篮 means the basket? It has a 竹 on top. We discussed this. 竹 means?
Bamboo.
Bamboo, thank you. Why bamboo means basketball? Because in traditional Chinese, all the baskets are made by bamboo. Like this. Right, so do we understand why a basket needs a radical of bamboo? Just remember this so you will never forget how it's written. Pay attention to this. We need a specific verb to play the specific kind of sports. You踢足球, yes?
Is that lan the same lan as in blue?
No. Lan in blue has a different particle on top associated with 草. 草 means?
Oh, grass.
Grass, right? Why the color has a radical of grass? Why do you think? Yes.
Maybe is it because they would have seen that color in nature before they had the name for it?
You ever thought about how people make color before the industrial revolution? Our ancestors, how do we dye?
Oh, they would use.
We use herbs.
Plants
right?
and stuff. Soya, no, not soya, sorry. Clay.
Right.
Blood.
Yes. Okay, here I found it. So basically, people make the color of blue from this herb.
What? How?
Okay.
But that herb's green.
Yeah, but I don't know how they do that, but it is.
Wow.
Right. So there's still people using this, which is extremely expensive because it's all handmade, not from the industrial production line, and they still exist nowadays. And they make blue, these kind of blue, and they're expensive because you can never make the second same color, right? Because every time you make a unique blue.
Interesting. 很有意思.
很有意思. Right, very good. Right, we come back to this. You use a specific verb with a specific kind of sports. You 踢足球 because you use your foot to kick the ball. You 打篮球 because you use your hand to play the basketball, to hit the basketball. You don't use your hand to play with the football, right? Following that logic, you 踢足球 you 打篮球 you don't 踢篮球 or 打足球 and you 骑自行车 you ride the bicycle, right? 骑, if we look at 骑 has two Chinese characters. One is 马 on the left, another is 骑. You don't know the right one, but we do know what 马 means.
Horse.
Horse, right? It's an animal, horse. You ride a horse. So how do we say ride a horse?
骑马.
Correct. So you 骑自行车 is ride a bicycle. Then you ride a horse, you 骑马. And now let's look at why 自行车 is 自行车. 车 auto, we learned that, right? So we know this is kind of auto. 自 means self, 行 means work. So literally 自行车 means self-working auto, right? This means you don't need any extra energy to move it. It will move itself. 自行车 bicycle. Okay, now we come back to this heavy hobby thing. If I ask you, 你喜欢什么运动? I like play basketball.
我喜欢打篮球。
打篮球 Very good. If I ask you, 你喜欢哪一种运动? I like play football. I like to play football.
我喜欢踢足球。
Right. You 踢足球, you 打篮球, or you can 打球, right? We 骑自行车, we can, in short, 骑自行车 can be 骑车 because you don't ride the other cars, right? You don't ride your Nissan. You can 骑马. You can also 骑摩托车. What do you think the 摩托车 is?
Motorcycle.
The motorcycle, right? The 摩托车. Where's my... Right, it's written in this way, in motorcycle. Okay, we continue. We have 最 here, number 9, 最. 最 is also the adverb. We actually discussed this before. It's used to describe the most extreme situation. For example, I like sports. What I like the most is running. How do we form that sentence? I like sports. I like the most is running.
我喜欢运动，我最喜欢跑步。
Thank you. 我喜欢运动，我最喜欢跑步。Right? You put 最 in front of other adjectives. You change that adjectives to a normal situation to the most extreme situation. What sits in between is 很 and 非常, right? Yes.
Could you say 我喜欢运动，我最喜欢的运动是跑步. Or would that be too?
No, you can. That's normal.
Okay.
可记. So, do we remember 很 and 非常? They mean?
Very and very much.
Very, very much. But 最 is extremely, highest or lowest degree, right? How do you form the lowest degree? 最不, right? For example, 我喜欢 I like. 我很 or 非常喜欢 like it very much. 我最喜欢 most like. 我最不喜欢 the thing I really hate. 最漂亮 the most beautiful. 最好 the extremely the best. 最大 the most. 最多最大 the biggest. 最多 the most in quantities. Right? In We'll deal with that later, because if I expand that, it will take another hour. All right. Number 12. No, we have number 3 left here. Number 3, 身体 is a noun meaning body or health, right? And I think it's understandable. It's just like a jia. It can be your physical home or your spiritual home. 身体 can be your physical body, or can refer to a metaphor, kind of metaphor, as your health. By that I mean, if I want to say he has a good body, 他身体很好, right? If I say 他身体很好, we normally don't use it to describe someone is in a good figure, someone is in good shape. When we say this, we normally refer to her health or his health is good. Okay, they are healthy. However, it depends on the context. If you certainly can use it to describe someone is in the good body shape. Depends on the context. And this T, doesn't that look very familiar from?
休息.
No, that's 修.
休息.
That's 修. What's the difference between 修 and 休息? How do I ask that in Chinese? What is the difference between 修 and 休息? I'll rephrase that. 修 and 休息 has what difference? Has what not as the same as each other? Use 一样 to form this question. 体 and 修 has what not the same?
Uh, 你不可以说修和体这么不一样?
Right. Yes, you can. Has, let's try to form in another way. 修和体, let's use the structure we learned from yesterday. 和什么什么一样, 和什么什么不一样. 和体 has, have in Chinese?
有.
What in Chinese?
什么?
什么不一样? 修 and 体 has what not the same? And what's the difference between them? Because there is a stroke. Right, let me make it bigger. Within 体, that there's no one in 修. Right? But we learned another word that starts with T. How do you say gym? The sports building.
体育馆.
Right. I was almost worried about you if you don't, all of them don't remember those. 体育馆, right? And we know T is some kind of linked to the function of your body. Last one, 报名. Ming is, we learned very first, names, right? 报名 is to report your names, meaning to sign up. To sign up any kind of a membership or sign into the kind of group, right? To put your name into that name list. 报名. Okay. Now, it's time. Right, let's read these together and we think again how their meanings and how they use, and we'll continue our discussion tomorrow. Repeat after me. 运动 in general. 跑步 身体 爱好 踢 足球 打篮球 最 骑自行车 骑马 报名 Right, that's for today. I'll see you tomorrow. 谢谢，再见。
谢谢老师。
谢谢。
谢谢老师。
Bye. Bye, Mr. Paris. Bye, Kelly.
谢谢老师，再见。
Bye, Miss Gomez. 再见。
谢谢老师。
再见。Right, that's for today. Bye, Mr. Bushras.